New details tonight on the mysterious deaths of a mother and her two young daughters in the upscale subdivision of Anaqua Springs. As our Yami Virhin found out, several calls were made to 911 the night they died.
Nicole Olson, Alexa Montes, London Briviescas. A mother and her two young daughters full of life, but those lives were cut short 2 years ago in the upscale Anaqua Springs home they lived in with Olson's boyfriend, Charles Wheeler. Wheeler has admitted to arguing with Olson the night of January 9th, according to the sheriff's office. He said he left and stayed somewhere else. The next morning, Wheeler told deputies he found the three shot to death in the house when he went back to check on them. They were on the second floor of the home. The medical examiner's report says Olson committed suicide. Someone had murdered her two daughters. Investigators at the sheriff's office sent their final report to the sheriff, but 2 years later, this is not a done deal.
At the moment that I am satisfied with all questions, and I close that case and I forward it as completed. In doing that, I'm also saying in essence that Nicole Olson murdered her two daughters. And I'm sorry, I'm not ready to label Nicole Olson as a murderer, a double murderer of her own children with what I have in hand.
Now the sheriff refuses to sign the final report. But why? We came here to the 911 center for answers.
County Sheriff's Office.
Several sources close to the investigation tell Fox San Antonio that Nicole Olson's phone records show the mother made 5 calls just after 11 o'clock. One to Wheeler's mother at 11:09, which we're told was not answered. Then 4 separate calls to 911. First call was at 11:10, followed by 2 calls at 11:11, and a final one at 11:12. 3 did not connect, but show up on Olson's phone record.
911, what is your emergency?
Only one of those connected to the 911 system.
One of those calls actually went through and registered with you guys. Why didn't anyone respond to her?
Well, and that was one of the questions that I had.
We took our information to the sheriff. While he would not disclose what Olson may or may not have said, he did explain why they could not send someone to the Anaqua Springs home.
What we found was that while we did know that there was a disconnected call, a dropped call from that phone number, we don't know where that number is calling from. So all that we know is that we have a dropped call from a cell phone number. Normal protocol is to call that number back, but if we don't know exactly where that phone is located, we don't know where to dispatch to.
The system is supposed to give GPS location, but why didn't it? According to the sheriff, 911 calls need at least a certain amount of time, which he would not disclose, so the coordinates can be picked up for the location.
The way the system works is it just wasn't engaged long enough for us to be able to attach a GPS positioning to that call.
And what about the automatic callback to the disconnected call?
There was a call back from our system to that phone, but my understanding is that it did not connect. Either somebody did not answer or it was not connected long enough for us to establish any real communications.
As of now, there are no suspects. Yami Virhin, Fox News at 9.